All right, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today. I know this is a Saturday and Saturday before we come back, and I really appreciate you all spending today trying to expand your knowledge as teachers, and I really do appreciate you all joining me today in this session. We had a pretty good turnout this morning, and we have a couple people in here today, or right now this afternoon. So this is the second time we run it. I have two separate videos. I'm assuming that will be uploaded to YouTube, or they might just pick the better of the two. But yeah, for today, what we're going to do is we're going to cover and learn how to use AI to create star-aligned questions. Okay, if y'all see me looking off to the side, it's because I have my monitor over here, and then I have my other monitor here that has the camera. So I apologize if y'all are just seeing my side profile, but I'm looking over here at my primary monitor. So what we're going to be covering today is we're going to be using AI to create star-aligned questions. A little bit about myself. My name is Sebastian. I'm the science lab teacher at Isla Escobar Elementary. I have about 5-6 years of experience as a teacher. Prior to that, I was a medic within our local 911 systems. I still work there part-time. And I say that because I bring the skills that are required in a high-speed critical thinking environment into the classroom to be able to formulate a pedagogically structured classroom that allows the students to be able to learn and be consistently engaged, right? So that's something that I do bring to the classroom with that. And prior to coming into education, I've had many jobs, and I used to, I told the other group that I have a brother that is also a teacher. He's a music teacher, and I would work 3-4 days straight. I'm talking about 72 X amount of hours straight. And when I would get home, I'd be tired, and I'd hit him with the typical, oh, you don't know what it's like to be tired. You're a teacher. You work in the AC, and oh, you're just in there. I used to hit him with that many years ago. And then once I got my teaching certification, I started teaching, and I had my first week as a teacher. It was a wake-up call. I didn't see that being a teacher was not for the weak at all. And it is a completely different type of fatigue that we get. So every single profession has their thing, and being that I've had quite a few jobs, it's safe to say that being a teacher has been one of the most draining per se, right? So a lot of respect was gained after that 1 week of teaching, and I've been here since then. So I know teachers, we put in a lot of effort, we put in a lot of time, we put in a lot of our own finances, and we tend to lose a lot of time over the weekends or weekdays because we're planning for our next day. So this is why I really love to have the application of AI within our classrooms, because it can help us as teachers be more efficient and be able to be more direct with what we're doing. Instead of trying to find different things, piece together little by little typing, we can use AI and our teacher brains to be able to formulate questions or material that we may need efficiently, right? One thing that I would like to preface this with is that when we as teachers use AI, we don't use it as a crutch. We don't use it, it's not the end-all be-all. We still need to use our teacher brain and our teacher certifications and our pedagogical content knowledge to be able to generate these questions and ensure that they are aligned correctly. We have to keep in mind that there are still a lot of limitations with AI, and it's not perfect. So we have to be able to work around that and fix the errors that come from it being a machine and mold it to the classroom that we want and the thought processes that are required to be an educator, right? So I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible. If at any point in time you feel like I need to slow down, raise your hand, shoot a message, or anything like that. I do want to have you all enjoy your weekend as soon as possible. I had about maybe 40-some, 50 in the morning that I tried to get out as quick as possible. We finished 15 minutes prior to. If you have any questions from here until the end, please feel free to ask any questions. Or if you don't feel comfortable to ask them now, you can go ahead and shoot me a message privately, and we will answer that question as soon as possible. So with that being said, let's go ahead and begin. So we're going to start with our itinerary. Our itinerary is going to be intro to AI. Some of us have already used ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Magic School AI. So some of us already have our preferred AI engine. And personally, my personal favorite is going to be ChatGPT, but Gemini has been growing on me. I've been seeing that as a teacher, Gemini is a little bit better. And it tends to export a lot easier than ChatGPT does, but ChatGPT just has way more models. So that's why I prefer that one. We also have Magic School AI. Some of us are already very familiar with Magic School AI, and that has a lot of tools in and of itself for students, right? Now, with Magic School AI, we only have the free version now. For a couple years, or for about a year and change, we had the district version, I believe, but just this past year, we ended up losing that license. PSJA no longer went through with it, and so yeah, we only have the free version of all three of these. Okay, none of these are purchased by the district for the pro versions, right? Again, my personal favorite is ChatGPT. I do pay for the pro, which is about $20 a month. I wouldn't. Again, that is my personal expense. That is my personal opinion. PSJA has not supported or has not said yes, stick with this one. So it's whichever one fits best for you. And then we have our DOK levels. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the DOK levels and the importance that they have in generating these questions, right? I'm also going to be talking about TCMPC. Some of us are familiar with TCMPC. Some of us have not seen it. We used to have a teach resource system that just about last year, if not the year before last, we transitioned to the new version of TCMPC. So some of y'all may have your login information. Some of y'all may not. And we'll talk about that shortly. Then we have our AI prompt, one of the most important things that we're going to need in order for us to start generating these questions, because the AI model needs to know exactly what you're looking for. And I've created an AI prompt that it asks you step by step, give me this, then this, then this, then this, and here's your question. Okay? Finding our STAAR release questions. Earlier today, the TEA Cambium site was down, so we used the digital versions of older years. I know a lot of us have our questions already in a question bank that our CLLs have given us. So you can also use your PDFs if you want to use the newer ones, but you can use Cambium, and I'll go over that right now. Hopefully the system's not down and we won't have to just use the PDF version, but hopefully we can get it straight from Cambium. So I'll show you what that looks like. And then at the end, of course, a session evaluation. I'm trying to get this done within maybe 30 minutes, hopefully. That way you all can, again, enjoy your day. So let's continue. Let's start with DOK, or depth of knowledge. A lot of us have gone over DOK, and we've seen it consistently, especially those of us that do our SGMs, those of us that are pushing to better our students. We've seen different DOK levels, but it's very hard for us to identify them sometimes, because what we think is a DOK level 2 maybe a DOK level 1. What we think is a DOK level 4 maybe a DOK level 3. So this cuts out the middleman, per se. This cuts out the human error when we're generating these questions, because it aligns it as best as it can to the current knowledge of what a DOK level is, or what the DOK level is. So let's go over DOK level 1. This is the most basic level of questioning, which is essentially just information recall, right? As we recall the information, some of the verbiage that you're going to be seeing in these questions is going to be arrange, calculate, define, draw, identify, list, label, illustrate, match, memorize, recognize, tell. As you can see, it's a very linear thought process. It's very linear, very straight. Basically, plug and play is what DOK level 1 is. It's very basic. And the main focus on it is specific facts, definition, details, and procedures. That's all it is. It's very basic. It's our definitions. It's our one-step, single-step mathematical problems. It's our identify what happened in this text, and that's it. Those are DOK level 1. Note, there's one correct answer, and the combination of level 1s does not make it a level 2. So you can't get 2 level 1s, put them together, and tan, we got a level 2. Now let's put another 2 level 1s, and now we got a level 3. No. It has to do with the rigor of the question. So if the rigor is not there, is not justified to move up to a DOK level 2, then it will not move up regardless of how many question combinations you have. So now let's move on to DOK level 2, right? DOK level 2 is going to be a little bit more application of what you know, right? So skills and concepts. So you're going to be practicing your skills, and you're going to be questioning the students on how to apply those skills in a problem format, right? The verbiage that you're going to be seeing is going to be categorize, cause and effect, classify, compare, distinguish, estimate, graph, interpret, modify, predict, relate, show, etc. Right? So as you can see, these are more application of the concept. So you're going to distinguish the difference between these two models, or you're going to graph this equation based off of X, Y, and Z, whatever they give you, right? The focus is going to be applying skills and concepts and explaining how or why. So it's going to be not only just identifying, oh, yes, the answer is this. No, identify and explain, right? There is only one correct answer at DOK level 2. So again, one thing that we're seeing here, DOK level 1 and DOK level 2, is going to be that there's only one correct answer. Now we have DOK level 3. DOK level 3 is going to be strategic thinking, right? It's going to be the application of these skills and concepts, but now we got to think strategically and identify patterns and recognize an application of these things. We see these questions heavily in science, reading, and occasionally we'll see them in mathematics as well. We do have them quite a bit in mathematics as well, but they tend to be more prevalent within our longer exam types, right? So we've been seeing an influx of level 2s, 3s, and 4s across the board in mathematics, in social studies, in science, in RLA, everywhere, right? It's just me being a science teacher, I tend to gravitate a lot more towards science than any other subject area. So I continue with DOK level 3. Again, strategic thinking. The type of verbs that we're going to see here is going to be assess, cite evidence, compare, conclude, construct, critique, develop, logical argument, differentiate, formulate, hypothesize, investigate, revise. So one thing that we notice here, it's going to be the students generating their own thought processes based off of the knowledge that they have. It's not just a linear thought anymore. It's now, okay, here's the big picture. Let's bring it all together and let's identify what this question is going to have us answer, right? And that is the rigor that comes with the category, with the level 3 DOK, right? The main focus is going to be reasoning and planning in order to respond. Complex and abstract thinking is required, and defending reasoning or conclusions. We can see these a lot in our short constructed responses, in our extended constructed responses, in our argumentative essays, and stuff like that, where students have to plan, and they have to reason, and they have to, again, defend their reasoning with solid information, right? One thing that we're going to note here is going to be multiple answers or approaches. That's why when we have these open-ended responses, it's usually when it's open-ended, you're going to have multiple selections, right? I do see a couple of teachers here from middle school, high school as well. So this applies across the board. This isn't just for elementary. This isn't just for high school or middle school. This applies across the board. So you can also create these, like, for example, I believe I saw a Spanish teacher in here either right now or earlier today. This also applies for AP tests. I mean, you can most definitely do this for preparation of AP tests in history, Spanish, and X, Y, and Z. So this all is universal, right? Let's go to DOK level 4. Now we have extended thinking. This is a little bit more advanced and a little bit more abstract, right? So we apply concepts, analyze, connect, create, critique, and design and prove. So now we're designing based off of the foundation that we've already established. Now we're building off of that, right? We're kind of flipping it on its head instead of, hey, what is this? What do we have here? No, now we already know what we have and is the core concept that we need to understand. And now let's build and elaborate on it. That would be a DOK level 4. I know when we're creating our SGMs, one of the problems that I did see consistently within our campus is the lack of ability to identify DOK 1 through 4. And that goes across the board with all teachers. It's very hard for us to identify just based off of the question. We have to really look at it, analyze it, break it down, and okay, is it really strategic thinking? Is it recall? I think it's a DOK level 4 when in reality it's a DOK level 3 or DOK level 2, right? So these are, the good thing about AI is that it helps cut this off, and it helps cut off the human error in terms of identifying the DOK level because it aligns it already. So the focus is going to be on complex reasoning, planning, and thinking. Make real-world applications in new situations. And it has simple answers and multiple answers, not simple. It has multiple answers or approaches, often requires extended periods of time with multiple steps. So that is something that we are going to be looking for in DOK Level 4. Okay, for those of you who have just joined, I'm going to go ahead and remind you all to please, if you haven't already, you only need to sign in once per day or for the day. If you can sign into our PD system, the check-in is going to be Tech 25, and I'm also going to share these slides that I am currently viewing. So if you'd like to have your own copy so you can follow on your own later, by all means, I'd highly recommend it. That way you all can already have it with you. You don't have to type anything out. So we continue, right? That's our DOK. Why is it important to know this? Because when we're generating our questions, we need to know what approach we're going to take with our students. If you have a lower group, you're going to focus on level 1, level 2 in order for us to build off of their knowledge and to have our consistent knowledge checks. That's usually what we tend to do with our knowledge checks, DOK level 1 and 2, and then we start throwing in some 3s and maybe some 4s for our knowledge checks occasionally, but once it comes to our exam, we tend to focus primarily on 2s, 3s, and 4s. Right, so that's the importance of DOK level. So you can identify what kind of question you want to either mirror the STAAR question that we're going to give it, or you want to create a new one, or make the rigor a little bit harder, because that's another thing you can do. You can get the same question, you're like, I want it to be a little bit harder. I want the verbiage to be a little bit different, and I want them to think. So you can tell them, don't change the question, just make it a DOK level 3. So I'll show you what that looks like. Now, AI engines or AI models, right? We have ChatGPT, Gemini, and Magic School. ChatGPT tends to be the one that is everywhere right now. Everyone's using it. They do have a paid pro version. I personally like it. Again, that is my personal thought. Gemini, however, is growing on me. It is pretty good, and it's good for teachers because it's easy to export as well. In ChatGPT, you copy, you paste, and it kind of wonkifies everything. So with Gemini, it'll export it into a Sheets, a Google Sheets, because it's a Google company, so it works seamlessly with Google. This ChatGPT can also export to image, JPEG type, PDF, whatever it may be. It can also help generate a PDF or whatever it may be, but they both have their limitations. So I'm going to go over both of them, right? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you all ChatGPT. The way you use ChatGPT is it's already logged into mine. So I'm going to go ahead and make an in private window so it doesn't pick up any of my information. It's going to be ChatGPT, OpenAI. Now when you go to ChatGPT, it's going to ask you to log in or sign up for free. Now, you have one of two options. Either you use your district provided email or you use your personal email. Personally, I prefer the personal email because if you want to purchase the pro version, you can definitely do that. It's about $20 a month, like I said. But it's your personal opinion. It's not backed up by the district in terms of saying, hey, you know what, we recommend you get this one or this and that, whatever. It's personal preference. So I'm going to go ahead and not sign in. But let's say I do want to sign up for free. I'm going to go ahead and press sign up for free. Again, you can use your Google account. You can use your Apple. You can use your phone number. Google account if you're going to use your school information. Google account if you have a Gmail. Microsoft account for Outlook, Hotmail for those of us that still have those emails. So let's go ahead and continue. The beautiful thing about ChatGPT is that you can ask it many different prompts, and it has a lot of different models. So I'm going to go ahead and come into mine, and this is the Pro. I already have access to all the GPTs, right? You can use it to create stuff, to find information, to ask it questions, just general things. The majority of us in here, I'm assuming, have already dabbled a bit with AI, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue to come in to ChatGPT and create something. So like, for example, I'm going to give us a quick example of what ChatGPT can do for teachers, right? Again, we use ChatGPT as a resource. We do not use ChatGPT as a crutch because at the end of the day, we still need to be teachers and we still need to have that pedagogical content knowledge and be able to identify the limitations that these models have in creating work for us, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I tend to be very nice to AI. I recommend giving it a prompt and speaking to it like it's a normal person, right? Can you please create a 5E lesson model for a 5th grade science class? Create an exit Ticket 3 questions. Now I'm going to go ahead and specify as well. The more information you give this prompt, the more the AI model is going to do for you. So can you please create a 5E lesson model for 5th grade science class? Let's say focusing on mass of, or just mass, right? Focusing on mass. And you can even give it a TEAC right here, which would be like 5.6-ish, 5.7-ish for us in 5th grade, and then so on and so forth for all of the grade levels. So focusing on mass, right? So very simple. I'm going to give it to it. And here is our 5E lesson plan, right? We have our first E, engage, second E, explore, our explain, third E, our fourth E, elaborate, and then our last one, evaluate, which is going to be our exit ticket. It even gives us our little small exit ticket, right? These are all DOK level 1. Now that we've gone over them, we can identify them, right? So these are all DOK level 1. Which object has more mass? A bag of feathers, a bag of rock, same size, and then explain your reasoning, right? So this is kind of a tricky one, right? And this will be more of a DOK level 2, right? Just to identify, explaining, right, the reasoning. So this is a quick 5E model. Again, this isn't what I'm teaching today, but I just want to teach you what's it called? What AI can do for you. So let me go ahead and close this one because I already had it there. Come over here. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to paste it. And let's see how it comes out here. You're going to see a little bit of a difference between these two models. They're going to create, I gave them the exact same prompt. And as you can see, it gave us a little bit more in-depth. Let me see if I can split the screen here. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself and showing you all the other stuff. This one. All right, so 5E model. This one is a little bit more in-depth with the Gemini, so that's kind of growing on me. We have our engage, then we have our explore, time 20 minutes instead of 15 minutes. So this is where your teacher brain comes into play, and you start saying, okay, let me cut the times here. I know that with my group, with this group, or with this period, I can't, it's going to take me, it'll only take me 10 minutes instead of 15. Boom, you bring it down 5 minutes, add the 5 minutes, and allocate them somewhere else, right? Or you know what, 20 minutes is way too much for an explore. My kids are going to end up being bouncing off the walls after a while because they're done within 15. So bring it down to 15. So this is where you as a teacher would take it and mold it to your classroom, right? Then we have our explain, explore. So this is where, again, we use AI as a resource, not as our main crutch. Okay, we do not rely on it to give us everything. So with that being said, let me go ahead and bring ChatGPT back over here. All right, so we have our AI model. So there we go. From here, it's going to be what flavor do you like, and you're going to stick with that one. Or you can mix and match however you'd like. So let's go ahead and continue. Right. So we have our next part, which is going to be TCMPC. Now, the majority of us have access to TCMPC, and it has been given to us through our CITs, our campus CITs. If you do not have access to TCMPC, I recommend you reach out to your CIT and tell them, hey, I want access to TCMPC because I need to get these TEACs so I can better implement the information that's given in these TEACs so I can teach better, right, or whatever it may be. So what is TCMPC? TCMPC is a Texas Curriculum Management Program Cooperative, and it's a resource that can help us understand the TEACs and vertical alignments between grade levels and subject areas. It also breaks down the TEACs in a way that we no longer have to guess, like, okay, so it's talking about this, so if we're talking about this in this TEAC, I think we need to, this is definitely going to be on it. This is definitely going to be, no, it simplifies it for you and it gives you all the information. I'll show you what that looks like. In the Google Slides that I shared with you all of these images are active. They have active links. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here. And as you can see, if I come here, they all have active links. So I'm going to go ahead and go to this active link. This is TCMPC, right? Again, for you to get access, you have to talk to your CIT, and they'll give you a code, a campus code, and a PIN in order for you to activate your account. So we're going to wait a couple minutes. I'm assuming teachers right now are getting ready to go back to school, so every educational platform is currently overloaded. As of now, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or shoot any messages into the chat. If not, we will continue. All right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and continue. Again, being that I'm a science teacher, I gravitate towards science, but this is applicable to every content area. Okay? TCMPC is available for all content areas, including pre-K. So we have our pre-K guidelines, okay? So they're not available in this workspace yet. They will be adding them. I believe this is actually new. This wasn't here this past year. So now we have our ELA from K to English 4. Now we have our Spanish language arts all the way to 6th grade. And then we have our mathematics as well, both English and Spanish. Spanish only up to 5th grade. So we have our all the way up to pre-cal and models with applications, mathematical models with applications. And then in science, of course, we go all the way up to, I believe, biology, chemistry, forensic science, all of the environmental science and fun stuff, right? And we also have social studies and estudios sociales. Okay? So again, being that I'm a science teacher, I'm going to go ahead and show you, but this is applicable for every single content area. The only one that it kind of gets tricky with is going to be with reading, because there we have our prompts, and we have our writing prompts, and we have our passages, right? The only thing that changes is you give the passage and the question instead of just giving the question by itself. Okay? So that's the only difference. Instead of giving the question by itself, you'll give the passage in question. So let's go ahead and continue. I'm going to go ahead and stick with 5th grade. Okay? Now, when we click into our desired grade level, we're going to ignore this for now. This is only if you want to follow this little model or modules. But the ones that I care about are going to be these two right here, which is going to be our VAD, our vertical alignment document, and our TEKS clarification, right? Vertical alignment document would be more for the end of the year as we're trying to prepare them for the next semester or for the next grade level or whatever it may be. But the TEKS clarification is where our bread and butter is at, right? So when I go into the TEKS clarification, you're going to see that you have your basic TEK right here, right? But then you have the specificity. And this is gold for us when we're using AI to create these questions. Why? Because this gives the AI information that is needed in order to create these questions and align them to the TEKS. So like, for example, I'm going to give you all, let's come all the way down here. This is, of course, our RTCs and SCPs. So we're going to come all the way to 5.6, which is matter and energy. So this is what we're used to seeing, just this basic TEK right here, 5.6a, compare and contrast matter based on measurable, testable, or observable physical properties, blah, 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 blah. Now from here, the TEK specificity, it breaks it down in depth as to what may be asked, and it even has notes. Students are not expected to distinguish between mass and weight. That's a very key thing. That's very important because now you won't have to waste time identifying that, right? Personally, I still teach it, but these are things that, or this is information that will greatly help the AI model to generate these questions and will help you as a teacher to identify different things that may need to be taught. You can go through and you're like, okay, I've already taught magnetism and I taught all of this, right? I've already taught liquids, I've taught gases, I've taught blah, 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 blah. Oh, I need to remember solubility and what. Let me go over solubility. So now you have a breakdown of what that TEK requires, right? And that's why I love TCMPC. So we have AI model, we have our TEKS, right? AI model, and we have TEKS. Now we have our AI prompt. The AI prompt is arguably the most important part of this, right? Because you can tell the AI something very simple, something very basic, like, hey, I need you to create this, and that's it. And that's what it'll do. But you can make it as detailed as possible. You can have it follow a step-by-step procedure so you yourself won't get mixed up. And that's essentially what I did here with this AI prompt. So the AI prompt that I created is going to be, or is, I am going to give you a sample question from a standardized test. The sample may be provided as text or an image. Okay, that's very important because our AI models now can identify images. ChatGPT currently, if you have the free version, I believe you can only give either 3 or 5 images per month, which limits what you can do, right? I saw that Gemini hasn't really warned me or told me like, hey, it hasn't really told me like, hey, we don't let me move this out of the way. We don't have a limit. It hasn't told me like, hey, you're running out of credit so far for what you've used. So that's pretty cool about Gemini. But yes, you can give it text or image and it'll identify what's in there. Now, after reviewing the sample, ask me for the state standard. In this case, it's going to be TEKS that I would like the new question aligned to or aligned with. Once I provide the standard, ask me if I would like the question mirrored exactly or adapted to a different format or scenario. Then ask me to choose a depth of knowledge, the DOK level. This is where the DOK level comes in handy. Again, we don't want to create all of them DOK level 3s, DOK level 4s, DOK level 1s, X, Y, Z, right? I want the new question to target, or that you want it to target, right? Levels 1 through 4, excuse me. Finally, generate a new STAAR-aligned question that reflects the format, rigor, and structure of the original sample, but aligns with the provided standard and chosen DOK level. Include the correct answer and a brief explanation or rationale. Now, you can give it the question. It'll mirror it, right? And when it mirrors it, you can ask it, hey, this is a DOK level 1. I want this type of question to be a DOK level 2 or 3, right? So it'll change the verbiage for you to where now it's requiring a little bit more in-depth knowledge. Or you can get that question. You can tell it, hey, I want this question format to be transitioned to this TEK and to be this DOK level. Right? So what we're doing is we're just mirroring an exam. And a lot of us have but have invested a lot of time in generating these questions for our students. I know there's times that I'll sit in my computer and I'll be here for hours trying to just type out the questions little by little and see like, okay, so this kind of sound, okay, it's kind of mirrored. I use the same verbiage. Now I'm just going to change a couple of the things here to make the question a little bit more, align it more with this other TEK. And it's something that's extremely time-consuming. And instead of spending 20 hours over your weekend planning, you can do this in a matter of an hour and change, fixing everything, and ensuring that you still have time to quality check and do what you have to do at home as well. So that's the whole point of AI. It's not to take over. It's not to do everything for us because we still need our teacher brains. It's to facilitate our instruction, right? So what I will do is I will take this AI prompt, and that's what I'm going to use. So we have our TEK, we have our standard, and we have our model, we have our AI prompt, and now we're going to find our question, okay? TEK, model, AI prompt, find our question. So in order for us to find our question, we find them in our TEA STAAR release questions. Okay, I have also hyperlinked this here, so if you're in presentation mode, you just click it. Okay, and it's working a lot faster than before, so hopefully it works right now. I'm going to go ahead and open, let's say 5th grade science. We have all of them here. The thing is that from 23 forward, I believe, from 23 forward, these are all digital. These are all going to be on Cambium. They're not going to be downloadable PDFs like we have in 2025. And realistically, we want to focus on 23 and above because this is already STAAR 2.0, right? So we want to focus on those. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here. Let me see if it's working because it did give me the error message earlier. There you go. System is offline. That's okay. It should be online soon. I'm going to show you the exact same thing that we're going to do, but with a PDF. Okay, so usually our CLOs give us these questions. You can ask them like, hey, can you send me the PDF version of this, that, whatever, or our benchmarks or whatever it may be. So I'm going to go all the way back to 2022 just so I can get the PDF, right? I'm going to go to the test form. And it opened it right at the question that I was going to use, right, because I had seen this earlier. But you can see the full PDF document here. Okay, you can have it create, or you can get any of these questions. Now, the thing with questions that have images, we have to be careful because the AI model is not too good at creating images, but it is decent, right? but it will pick it up. It will pick up this, and then you will add the images afterwards. So let me show you what that looks like, right? Let's say I really want to use this question right here because I like how it compares two different organisms. This is, again, where your teacher brain comes into play. You're like, okay, so I've been studying these teaks quite a bit, so I know that this is going to be category 4. It's going to be either 5.12 or 5.13 because I know it's structures and functions and comparing structures and functions. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take a screenshot of this right here, right? So the way you screenshot is Shift, Windows button, and S. Shift, Windows, and S. Or those of y'all that are in Mac, I believe it's Shift, the little Mac button, and S. Okay? So let me go ahead and continue. So the 4 things that we have: teak, AI model, prompt, question. So now that we have all 4 of those, I have my question. Okay. Question. Okay. Oh no, I got ahead of myself. Question, AI model, and teak. Right? Teak, AI model, question, and teak again. Okay, so let me go get the prompt. I'm going to start a new chat because I've already had the start question here generate, and I'm going to show you what it looks like just so we don't waste time afterwards. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to copy this prompt, right? You can modify this prompt, you can add to the prompt, you can do whatever you'd like in order to best fit your question generation, but I try to make it as plug and play as possible for all of us. So now it responded. Perfect. Go ahead and share the sample question, either as text or an image. Once I review it, I'll ask for 1, the state standard; 2, whether you want the question mirrored exactly or adapted to a new format or scenario; 3, depth of knowledge, DOK, 1 through 4. After that, I will generate a new star-aligned question with the correct answer and a short rationale. Would you like to share your first example question? So now I'm going to give the example question. I'm going to come over here. Now, you can take a screenshot or a snip, as I'm about to do. You can do that. Or if it's a PDF that you can copy-paste from, you just highlight it and paste it in. Okay? In this case, I feel the image is more beneficial. So I'm going to give it the image. And I'm going to press the share button. Thanks for sharing. Before I create your new star-aligned question. Okay? Now, it'll give it to you 1, 2, 3, 4. You can answer them immediately 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can go one at a time. Which state standard? I'm going to give it the state standard. Okay, so remember I said it's within the 5 point something. There you go, 5.13. So now this is, again, where your teacher brain comes into play, where you're like, I remember these teaks. This is your pedagogical content knowledge. This is your understanding of what you're teaching. AI is not going to do everything for you. And if you do make a lesson with AI and you don't know what you're looking for, it will be noticeable by people that are teachers and understand the concept very well, right? So this is for structures and functions. Copy. And I'm just going to give it the teak first, right? There's the teak. So now I picked up the teak. Now, do you want the question mirrored exactly? I want it, let's say, I really do like this one, but now I want it at a different DOK. This is probably like a DOK level 2-ish, right? This would be a DOK level 2 because now they're having to have they are doing concept, right? They're categorizing cause and effect, classify, they're comparing two different structures and identifying, relating, right? This is a DOK level 3, borderline going to 4 and 2, borderline going to 3. So now I want it to be mirrored exactly. Mirrored with organisms, mirrored with different organisms, right? Now I just answered the other one. Again, you can give it 1, 2, 3 and answer it that way, or you can just give it one little thing at a time and it'll bring it down for you. Now we have the DOK. So let's say I want a DOK level 3. DOK 3. I hate that it keeps on going enter instead of sending. Excellent. So the standard, now it gives you the standard and it gives you the question, which is going to be strategic thinking, the DOK level, right? And here's the new question. The teeth of a wolf and the teeth of a deer are shown. So it'll show wolf teeth and deer teeth. Now us as teachers already know, okay, we have sharp teeth, we have herbivore teeth. The difference between the shapes of the teeth is most likely associated with the, and then we have our answer choices. Again, as a teacher, you have to double check these questions because there's sometimes that the AI model will have an error here or it'll have two correct answers. So you have to double check this. You can't just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. No, it still takes a little bit of time, right? The correct answer is going to be B, the type of food they eat, and it even gives you a rationale. This is perfect for you to create small study groups, perfect for your SGMs. I used it this past year to create my SGMs and even gave the rationale. So when they ask us for our packets to turn in, like here are the questions, here are the students, here's the blah, 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 here's the correct answer document with a rationale as to why I selected these questions, right? So I can have it generate, or I can give it different animals. For example, I can go back to the teak, and I can say, okay, so I'm going to come over here, and I want to focus on a forest ecosystem. And I can say, do it with organisms from a forest ecosystem. And it will show me a comparison between two forest organisms. Now, what I did do with the other one is I asked it to generate an image for me. I'm not going to do it with this one because it's going to take a little bit of time. But I do have this. Let's see if it comes up. Okay, here's this. Here's the image that it created. And it even looks like a STAAR question. So as you can see here, it gave me a long, thin beak illustration, flat beak illustration, and then it gives me the question. Now let's go into the actual image. This is the image that ChatGPT created for me, right? The difference between the shapes of these beaks is most likely associated with the, and I mean, I'm not even going to lie when I tell you that I would more likely think this is a STAAR question. This looks like a STAAR question. This looks like something STAAR would definitely do. And as a matter of fact, let's put them side by side. We'll put this one, and we'll go ahead and put this one. As you can see, oopsie, here they are side by side. Does that not look like a STAAR question? I mean, it did a pretty good job of mirroring the question and even generating an image for it, which I really do like. Personally, one of the things that has bothered me about TEA and STAAR is that they keep on using black and white images, especially for reading and science and social studies. I don't like that they use black and white images, but if you want it to mirror it as best as possible, it can definitely do it in a sketch-like drawing or a diagram or whatever it may be. But this looks great. From here, I can just copy it, copy image, put it into my Google document or my Google Forms, and there's your question. Boom, you're done with it. And you already know what DOK level it is, what the correct answer is, and there goes your job, right? So let's continue. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like on Gemini, right? I'm going to create a new chat, and I'm going to follow the same exact prompt. Same exact prompt. I'm going to come over here. And you're going to see how it slightly changes once we place it here. Okay, so I'm ready to help you. First, give me the state standard. Again, everything's the same. I'm going to try to speed through this because we've already seen this. All right. Here. Okay. Wait, what's it asking me for first? Okay, so I need to give the sample question first. Excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself. Where's my question? Here it is. Take a copy of it. I'm going to come over here, paste it there. I'm going to first give it the question. Once I give it the question, based on the image, the question is about the different species, and now please tell me the standard or teak, and now I can come over here and get my standard. Again, that's why I love this prompt, because it tells you step by step what to give it. It's essentially foolproof to a certain extent, right? Would you like the new question to be mirrored? I'm going to tell it the same thing. Mirrored. Wait, too many R's. I'm a science teacher. Mirrored with different organisms, all right? Respond. Now we answer to the last one, which is going to be DOK level. So I want a DOK 3 as well. So let's see what question it generates for us, right? The previous time that I did it, it generated plants. So let's see what it does here. Ah, there you go. Look, it even gave it to me in a Google form. So that's why I also like Gemini. Gemini has been growing on me because it even gives me the question as or in a different format, and I can copy it easily. So a group of scientists studied a temperate forest ecosystem over several years. They observed a species of bird with a strong pointed beak that uses its bill to hammer into tree trunks. Oh, excuse me. Apologize, allergies. So, it uses its bill to hammer into tree trunks to reach insects. A second species of birds in the same ecosystem has a long, thin, curved beak that it uses to reach nectar deep inside a tubular flower. During a severe drought, most of the flowering plants died, and the population of insects grew significantly due to the lack of predators. The difference between the beaks of these two birds is most likely associated with the... So, it even threw in a little bit of extra information, right? I like how it created the question, but realistically it didn't mirror it for me the way ChatGPT did, right? It didn't mirror it the way I wanted ChatGPT to do it or how I wanted it to do it, but it did give me a very good DOK level 3 question. This is still a very good question, right? Because we do get questions like this in science, most definitely. This is very sciencey or science star, right? I can go ahead and ask it, generate the images that can go with this problem. So it should hopefully be able to generate the images. Again, as of right now, it hasn't given me a limit as to the images that I can give it or the images that it can create. So let's see what it gives us. There you go. So it gave me a woodpecker, right? And this is AI generated. So it did a pretty good job if you ask me. We can do one with the woodpecker, and then we can ask it to give me the other one, right? Based off the prompt description, here are 2 images of birds. Where's the other image? Did it give me the other image? It didn't give me the other image. So it gave me this one, right? But you all get the gist of it. From here, copy, paste, put it into your exam, and let's go, right? So that's how we would create these questions. Again, I know I went very fast, and I did cover quite a bit. This session is recorded. So if you want to go back and review anything that I have or that I've spoken about, it will be available for you all on our YouTube for our technology department in PSJA. Okay. Before we continue, does anybody have any questions? Again, I know I did speak very fast. I know I did go over this in a very speedy time. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to either ask right now or to shoot me a message whenever you can. I'm going to go ahead and copy this link and put it into the into our chat. This is just going to be our evaluation, all right? Evaluation. Oh, okay, there we go. It was also shared by Ms. Moreno. Thank you very much, Ms. Moreno. I really appreciate it. So again, Ms. Moreno is assisting us. And if you can, please don't forget to check in using Tech25. Again, if you already checked in once throughout the sessions today, you don't have to check in again. I would appreciate if you all do give us an evaluation. And thank you very much. If you all have any questions, please don't don't hesitate to ask them right now. I'm going to be here for a couple more minutes. I'll put my slides back up, but you can type out a question or you can send me a private message and I'll get to you as soon as possible. But yes, again, have a good day. Have a great weekend. I really appreciate you all assisting us today and taking the time out of your day to learn and become better educators. So thank you very much. Hope you all have a good weekend.